Tomatoes are still ripening, and the raspberries are helping to give the tomato plants a little shade. But since this is in a smaller container, the soil dries out, and if it doesn't rain any given day, I have to water. I use rainwater from my bucket. And this is from UV, causing the plant to sweat and the soil to dry. But other greenery is still fine. It's not infected. It's just trying to conserve moisture. So water, more water. Plants are taking UV hit and looking like it's fall. And they say, oh, it's an early fall. It's not. It's UV taking a hit. Between the plants drying out and dying and the wildfires, I think we're really in another cycle, creating another coal bed that'll be covered up by mud floods, and in the future they'll say, oh, it's coal. So that's what I think we're at. And in the meantime, I take off any of these leaves down here that are really yellow. The plant's doing good considering the time of year we're in. And it's still trying to grow fruit. And in here we have a bunch of volunteer mulberries and Rosa Sharon and even a cherry tree. This tree over here, the cherries are very small, but if it was an ornamental apple, it would have reddish, hard, leathery little bulbs. And this one has a dark fruit. So we got a volunteer cherry plant. And these are maple trees. And you can see every time we have a really hot day, the plants are taking a hit. Seeds are ripening on the parsley. Make sure your garden's set up so that you can grow and save seeds. It's not that hard to do. And we even have a few volunteer flowers come up. So clustering the plants seems to help a little bit with the UV. And we got a bunch of tomatoes over here. And the roses were doing good, but they're starting to fail. The stems are drying out. It's a little too damp back here. So they lasted a couple weeks, but they may not root. So doesn't mean try it again, but we can see it's browning, it's getting hard. But the tomatoes seem to be doing very good. This one got knocked over by heavy rain, but we set it back upright and it's doing okay. We even got a volunteer squash plant over here. I wonder if it'll produce anything before the end of the season. So I just let it go. Came from the compost. So, how's your garden doing? My potato bed is finishing its cycle, but there's not many potatoes because the soil's not very deep. And dry as a bone. So what you put in is what we get out. And I have other priorities too. So I'm feeling better, getting out more and investigating the garden. Look at these volunteer tomato plants that came up from the compost. And I watered yesterday, but look, because I didn't water this morning, they're all fainted. So, since they're not really important, we have plenty of groceries, I let them go. Instead of keep pumping water, the water bill up higher. So, beds need to be a little bit deeper, mulched. And as you can see where the grass is, the plants seem to be doing good when they're crowded together because the moisture is staying longer. Let me know how your garden's doing.